following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. Coverage of National Signing Day from Main Street Preps.
This is Russell Venozzi with Main Street Preps, and now that signing day is in the books, you can go online to our website, mainstreetpreps.com, and check out the master list of Nashville area signees from all the various sports. A bunch of dreams came true this week and will continue to come true over the coming weeks as all these seniors are finalizing their decisions. But yesterday on signing day, I went over to Donaldson Christian Academy to see the defending state champions over there. Their football team had 4 signees. Big haul for them. A very small school. They've only got about 35 players on their entire team and only about 13 or 14 guys in their entire senior class. So to have 4 guys signing on to the next level is a pretty big deal for them. And the 4 that signed are quarterback Bradford Gaines. He was a Mr. Football semifinals, had a really good year for them. Outside linebacker Nolan Forsha is following in his brother's footsteps to Tyler Junior College, taking the JUCO route. Aiden Francis, a versatile offensive lineman who could play center or guard in college, is going to the University of Rochester in New York, where his father grew up. And their leading wide receiver, Dayton Sneed, has decided to pass up some small school offers to go to Murray State to be a preferred walk-on there at the Division I level. After that was over, I made the trek down to Franklin at Battleground Academy, another alphabet school there, BGA. They had a nice ceremony in their football facility honoring football players, but also players from several other sports as well. The list there was highlighted by Sean Williams. He's a running back that had a big season for them, rushing for about 1,300 yards and 16 touchdowns, and was also a valuable defensive back, and that's what he's going to be at Dartmouth College. They're in the Ivy League next year. He chose Dartmouth over a preferred walk-on spot at Vanderbilt and an offer from Yale that came in late last month. But he should be a story up on him as well on Main Street Preps this afternoon with kind of detailing his decision. And BGA is going to have to replace a lot from its football team because 4 other guys also signed and several others are expected to join them in the coming weeks. And those were AJ McLemore, who's going to Birmingham Southern College, Miller Barnett, Lane Sutherland, and Zach Flores all signed to Center College. So they'll continue to be teammates there.
Hey everybody, it is Zach Womble with the Gallatin News, the Hendersonville Standard, and the Portland Sun, your Sumner County sports editor, giving you a quick National Signing Day update. We've had a lot of kids sign to continue their athletic and academic careers at the next level, but none bigger than 2 here in Hendersonville, one being Jamison Wharton at Hendersonville High School and the other being Beach wide receiver Andrew Page. Both are going to continue their careers at Vanderbilt University, SEC, Power 5, both 3-star athletes. Let's start with Jamison Wharton. What does the tape tell us? He's a 6'3", long, rangy corner that has a ton of speed and a ton of upside. He's been labeled a diamond in the rough, knows he has a lot of work to do on his technique, but when you run a 10-6 100-meter dash, that's something you can't teach, and that's something the Vanderbilt coaches coveted. He's a very good corner who did not get tested a lot this year. So he doesn't have great stats, but he did have more than 10 pass breakups when he was targeted throughout 15 games this year. Most notably, he picked up an Ole Miss offer following Hendersonville's game against Summit in the Class 6A semifinals, where he held Brady Pierce, who is going to the University of Kentucky on a preferred walk-on scholarship, as a preferred walk-on, held him to only 1 catch. So that was really his time to get himself out there, solidify his name. But again, that 10-6 100-meter dash speed is what coaches gushed over. It's what made Ole Miss want him, and eventually Vandy jumped on board. And then once Vandy jumped on board, it was all Commodore Nation. He really loves what they have. He loves the family atmosphere. He loves what Clark Lee is doing. Feels they are turning over a new leaf on West End and is excited to compete for an SEC championship. Now the other guy, Andrew Page. Commodore fans, hear me when I say this. Get to know Andrew Page because I think he will be on the field a lot sooner than you think. This is a 6'4", 6'5", hybrid wide receiver that's about 220, 225 pounds, has plans to move to H-back /tight end. And if that's the case, his athleticism is going to allow him to create a lot of mismatches at that position. This is a guy that has exploded onto the recruiting scene, a guy on the basketball court whose head is getting above the rim, so you know he can go up and get those 50-50 balls and bring them down to you. I joked as a Tennessee fan not to go too crazy when playing the balls, but this is a guy who I think Commodore fans are going to grow to love, and one who I think you could potentially see on Sundays. Again, this is a guy with an NFL body, 6'4", 6'5", 220, can go up, high point the football. And I wouldn't put it out of the question that they could potentially look at him at a linebacker position or a rover on defense, something like that. He's a big physical specimen and one that I think Commodore fans are going to really love watching over the next 3-4 years, potentially 4 years, maybe longer with how red shirts and COVID goes. But this is a guy I do not see red shirting whatsoever. This is a guy I think can come in, step in, and give an immediate impact for Clark Lee's offense. So again, Jamison Wharton, Andrew Page, our two biggest football stars, both rated 3 stars by 247 Sports, going to be playing a lot of good football for Vanderbilt University in the coming season. Not to be outdone, however, you've got Ellis from Hendersonville going to Austin Peay State University. This is a guy I firmly believe is someone whose size was a detriment to him. He's only 5'8", 5'9". If he was 6'3", 6'4", I think he's Power 5 talent. This is a ball-hawking safety, a running back who is very simple in his motto. Get the ball, score the ball, or on defense, see ball, hit ball. This is a guy who is a true ball hawk to the nature, who is someone who I think can get upwards of 6-7 interceptions at the FCS level, and someone who I think can really blossom and explode and potentially hit that transfer portal after only 1 year with the Governors and potentially get himself to a higher level of competition. But again, not to be outdone, I think Ellis, one of the best players in the county, and Governor fans are going to be super happy to have him. Not sure how long you're going to have him, but nevertheless, Scotty Walden, a huge pickup for him in Austin Peay State University. Also looking at a couple other names from around the county, Luke Manning, Hendersonville quarterback, who set the school record this year for most passing touchdowns in a season with 21. Going to continue his education and athletic career at Campbellsville University. Has an opportunity to come in and step in and be quarterback 1 immediately. So those are our big football recruits around the county. Of course, there's some other guys, baseball, soccer, track and field athletes that have signed as well. You can, of course, check out the full list of names on MainStreetPreps.com where Nashville area athletes have signed. If you want in-depth look at Andrew Page or Jamison Wharton, Vanderbilt fans, head on over to MainStreetPreps.com, go to Sumner County or Davidson County, click that, or you can find it on Twitter under my handle at Zach Womble, MSP.
Hi, everybody. Tommy Bryan, sports editor of the Wilson Post in Lebanon. We had a busy national signing day. Mid-South Conference, NAIA, made some big inroads into Wilson County. I'll run through some of those for you. I tell you, somebody had a really big haul was NAIA power Lindsey Wilson. They signed Brady Watts, a wide receiver from Watertown, Tyson King, lineman from Green Hill, Dwayne D'Lo Brown, defensive back from Lebanon, Green Hill offensive lineman, Tyson King, and Robbie Spickard, a defensive back with Wilson Central. They all signed with Lindsey Wilson. And then here's a pretty good little carpool going from Wilson County to Georgetown College, also a Mid-South Conference power. Brandon Martin, defensive back at Lebanon, and Wilson Central linebacker Blake Hobbs, both signed with the Fighting Tigers of Georgetown. Bethel's made some good inroads in Wilson County. Colin Jarrell, a lineman for Green Hill, and Fabian Walker, tight end at Lebanon, signed with Bethel. Now, Colin's kind of an interesting story. He sees himself as a fullback, but given the way that Green Hill's football team was put together, he had to play in the line. He played guard for them, and they let him run the ball in some goal line situations. So he's going to get a chance to play fullback at Bethel. Bethel uses an offset fullback quite a bit, so he's going to get a chance to play there. And probably one of the bigger signees, Mount Juliet High All-State defensive lineman Jeffrey Pillows signed with Tennessee Tech. So he's the lone FCS division kid that we had signed in Wilson County. Still waiting on some names for some more Wilson Central kids. But overall, a really good day, National Signing Day for football here in Wilson County.
Blaine Keller reporting with the Robertson County Connection. On National Signing Day, a pair of Greenbrier student athletes furthered their college careers and their high school careers to play the next level. Three-star athlete Derek Taylor announced his commitment on Monday as a preferred walk-on to the University of Tennessee. He signed alongside offensive and defensive lineman Paxton Manis at the same ceremony on Wednesday morning. Derek Taylor, three-star recruit by the 24/7 Sports Composite. Knoxville was a dream school for him, and that's where he ultimately ended up, spurning offers from Marshall, Michigan State, Austin Peay, and Eastern Kentucky. Manis signed with Cumberland as a lineman. He was a three-time All-Region 5-4A member, and as a junior was Greenbrier's offensive MVP.
And this is Main Street Prep's Tyler Palmatier. Signing day has come and gone at this point, and really, as we all kind of know, the second signing day lacks a little bit of drama these days because that early signing period has opened the door for that's really when a lot of the people are waiting for a lot of commitments. Most of what we call the 4 or 5 star guys, most of them do sign during that first one in December. So this second one has kind of developed this reputation as not being very dramatic. I mean, for instance, Auburn, I don't believe signed anyone yesterday, which is sort of crazy. But there's still some. And when you look at our area, Jordan James stands out above the rest. He was our Main Street Preps Player of the Year. Great running back from Oakland. Long-time Georgia commitment and didn't sign during that first period. And that's kind of a signal these days. If you're that level of a running back like Jordan, if you don't sign during that first one, you're kind of tipping your hand that you're looking elsewhere. And he certainly did, and he ended up choosing Oregon. He was blown away by that visit, he said, and that just changed his mind completely. So that's that. We had some drama. Andrew Page from Beach going to Vanderbilt. That was not known until kind of right up until signing day. So there's still some drama out there. And really, signing day is awesome for a lot of reasons. You know, one, as mentioned, it really does. It's the future of the Power 5 football landscape in college football. So on one end, you have that. On another end, you have guys that are just looking for homes to try and get to that Division I Power 5 level. Great example, Hillsboro's Mike East Jones, defensive back wide receiver. He's going to go to Iowa Western Community College. He's a guy who didn't find that Division I home right out of high school, but definitely a candidate to Western has pumped out a number of Division I guys. So you're happy for guys like that just find that place to stop and fill some time, maybe build mentally and physically, and then get to the other level. That's as you can celebrate that just like you can anything else. And then you have a level of guys that are just trying to go get an education. There's so many great things about it when you go to a signing day and just watch the smiles and see kids just be excited about their futures. And I personally went over to Ravenwood yesterday and wrote a story about Isaac Rollins, who the Ravenwood defensive back, who was just dead set on going to an Ivy League school. Probably could have found somewhere a mid-major to play, or maybe maybe somewhere in the Power 5. But this was a kid that just wanted to go Ivy League, and he ended up signing with Harvard and was kind of pursued and looked at a lot of different ones like Yale, Northwestern, Duke was after him for a while. And you go pick a kid's brain like that for a while, and it's pretty fascinating. He's interested in fashion and art, and he wants to go get a business degree and kind of couple the two things together. So I had a lot of fun writing that. Super interesting kid. Also notable at Ravenwood, Lee Millette signed with Connecticut as a defensive back, which of course he played two ways in high school. But I always had kind of just in my brain penciled him in as a receiver, but ends up he's going to be a big, rangy defensive back that I think could have a good career at UConn. So those are kind of a few of the notable things I saw on this signing day. And here's kind of the last thing that stood out to me, and it really it wasn't even technically a signing day story, but Page quarterback Jake McNamara He was in college classes on signing day yesterday. He's been enrolled at UTEP for about a week. And if you don't know Jake's story, a day before the state championship game that he played in, Colorado State's coach was fired, and Jake was left without a home. He was left without a school to go to, and he was going to be a mid-year enrollee. So he had a few weeks, or a month to find a new school to try and get to, and ended up landing at UTEP. There's a connection with his quarterback coach, Jordan Palmer, who used to play there. So found a home, and it's not really a signing day story, right? I mean, the agreement's kind of been in the book for a few a few weeks now, but he had to find a place, and so while everybody else was signing, he was a guy that still had to find somewhere, and he was walking out of a college class in what should have been the second semester of his high school senior year. So I'm telling you, it's definitely a different landscape these days with 2 signing days and a transfer portal and a lot of activity in college. It is a wild rodeo, high school football to college recruiting, because it's anyone's guess anytime, and throw the coaching carousel in there. It's tough to figure out. You've still got guys that are in, the signing period just begins. It just began yesterday. The period goes on, so it'll be interesting to see where there'll be other chips that'll fall, guys from the area. So we'll definitely be keeping you on top of all that stuff at MainStreetPreps.com.